Hello, my name is Michele Cunningham and I live in Melbourne, Australia. I have the disease RFC1-canvas, which is the acronym for cerebellar ataxia neuropathy vestibular areflexia syndrome. I was first diagnosed with cerebellar ataxia in 2013, and that neurologist sent me to a neurologist in Melbourne who specialized in the disease. At that stage, I lived in the country, as you can see in the background, but I moved to Melbourne to be there where the neurologist had his own team of support workers, and my children happened to live there with their families. Just a brief background, I was a scientist. I specialized in microbiology and some molecular biology in latter years. Back in the days when I had children, we had no such thing as maternity leave, so I had to leave work. But when my oldest child started school, I said to my husband, I really want to go back to work. And I ended up with a position as laboratory manager of Taronga Zoo in Sydney. I had only done human microbiology and infectious disease studies, so this was a new experience for me in learning all the veterinary work. It was challenging and absolutely really interesting, and I kept in touch by going to clinical meetings at hospitals and over the years. So most of my work, medical work, was in Sydney, but also some work in India and London. And I did veterinary work in Nepal, where I worked on a disease in elephants. My symptoms were like so many other people, that I got an early dry cough decades before any other symptoms occur. So my cough started in my late 40s, that I didn't have symptoms of ataxia until I was in my late 60s. When I moved to Melbourne, I was diagnosed with not only cerebellar ataxia, but neuropathy, vestibular atrophy, areflexia, and also dysautonomia. So these were all diagnosed in between ages 70 and I'm now 80. My clinical support was excellent. I have a great neurologist who has a balance disorder physiotherapist, a speech pathologist, a neuro-ophthalmologist, and because of my dysautonomia, a cardiologist and a gastroenterologist. I have very good social and lifestyle support. I have a psychologist or counselor, but in Australia, after we turn 65, we can join a government-supported group called My Aged Care. I joined My Aged Care, and I have a support provider who, in my case, is Mercy Home Care. And under that provider, I have a case manager who helps me deal with my illness. I have an occupational therapist under this program who watches the way I walk, the way I sit, the way I drop things all the time, and she advises and purchases for my aged care the devices which I need. They're walking mobilities devices, as well as things to help me with my fingers that don't work terribly well. I also have a podiatrist under this My Aged Care, respite care workers, house cleaners, a gardener, and handymen. So I'm very fortunate to have all of those things. And because I'm on the top level of assistance, the government funds all of that for me. My personal acceptance of the disease has been really difficult, but I'm grateful that my symptoms didn't show up till late in life, till late 60s, early 70s. And I had to learn to accept all the things that I used to do that I can't do now. I used to do heavy bushwalking, and in the winter in the Alps, I used to do cross country skiing in the snow. I also participated every week in a cardiovascular workout in aquarobics to keep me fit, but I had to give up all of those things. I've had to learn not to be envious of other people. Friends about the same age still travel overseas, which I can't do anymore. They go to the gym, they play tennis, they go swimming, they go walking. None of those things I can do anymore. I'm confined to using a walker or rollator in the house, and I use wheelchairs when I go out. Because of the tremors that I get, I can suddenly lose my balance and fall over. I do make the most of things that I can do. I belong to a group called U3A, which is University of the Third Age. And there I am in a Shakespeare group, which I do on Zoom, and really, really enjoy participating in that group. I also belong to an opera group on Zoom, and that is really great as well. I go out with my family and friends, and I enjoy the theatre. I also enjoy learning and keeping abreast with the latest developments in genetics so that I hopefully can try to read the scientific papers that are coming out all over the world for RFC1 canvas. I try to pace myself, which is really hard. Days and I woke up, wake up feeling good. I have trouble with speech. It's starting already. If I wake up and feel really good, I overdo things. I was always inclined to do that sort of thing. But now the fatigue is overwhelming, and I usually have to go to bed for a couple of days to recover. Finally, I'd like to just mention that I used to work at Queen Square when I worked in London. And in recent years, I went back to visit the hospital, and there was a new building on one part of the square. And I asked the receptionist what was the building, why was it there? And she said, oh, that's where most of the research is done. And little did I know that when I walked away from the hospital, looking at that building, that when the RFC1 mutation was discovered, it was in that building, along with another group independently of here in Melbourne and Australia. That was in 2019. And I walked away from the building where lots of research is being done at the moment on my disease. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.